Good afternoon, GCC. Welcome back to your daily devotional. And we are in John chapter 14 today. Starting John chapter 14. Again, we are in Jesus' final days. He is preparing his disciples for his death, preparing them for life without him being there right with them. And he had just told his disciples in John chapter 13, what we read yesterday, is that he would be with them only a little while longer, and that where he was going, they could not follow. And so we're going to pick that up right there, John chapter 14 and verse 1. Let's start. Jesus says, "Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I'm going there to prepare a place for you? And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come back and take you to be with me, that you also may be where I am. You know the way to the place where I am going." Thomas said to him, "Lord, we don't know where you are going, so how can we know the way?" Jesus answered, "I am the way and the truth and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. If you really know me, you will know my Father as well. From now on, you do not know him and have seen him. You do know him and have seen him." Philip said, "Lord, show us the Father, and that will be enough for us." Jesus answered, "Don't you know me, Philip? Even after I have been among you such a long time, anyone who has seen me has seen the Father. How can you say, 'Show us the Father'? Don't you believe that I am in the Father, and that the Father is in me? The words I say to you, I do not speak on my own authority. Rather, it is the Father living in me who is doing his work. Believe me when I say that I am in the Father and the Father is in me, or at least believe on the evidence of the works themselves. Very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these, because I am going to the Father, and I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. You may ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it." Okay, so there's a lot here, a lot of stuff to discuss, really. And we see that Jesus is trying to help the disciples understand, really, that this is a good thing. Even though he's saying he's going to be going away, and they didn't understand he was talking about his death, but he was telling them he was going to be leaving them. And he was trying to help them understand that it was actually going to be better for them because he was going to the Father. And he tells them, he says, "I'll come back and take you to be with me, that you may also be where I am. You know the way to the place where I'm going." And Thomas says, "We don't know how do we know where you're going? We don't know where you're going." And Jesus answers that he is the way, the truth, and the life. And no one comes to the Father except through him. He says he is the way. So if you know him, you know the way, right? He makes that statement. And the disciples, I think they were having a hard time understanding that this was going to be for their good, because it wasn't coming in a nice package, right? And sometimes, this is a great reminder, sometimes good things come in ugly packages, come in packages that we don't like the way they look, but there's something good in it. Even in the difficult things we go through, sometimes they come in ugly. It's an ugly package, it's an uncomfortable package, it's a difficult package, but man, there's something good when you go through it, right? This is what Jesus is saying. Look, there's something good in this. You know the way. You know where I'm going. He says he's going to prepare a place for them, and that there are many rooms. He describes heaven in that sense, as far as there's and his Father's house has many rooms, many places. And Philip then asks for them to show him the Father, and he's saying, "Listen, why are you still asking for evidence? You've seen what I've done. If you've seen me, you've seen the Father. Do you not believe?" And he's now talking to them about belief. And he says, "Whoever believes will do even greater things." Listen, verse 11. Believe me when I say that I am in the Father and the Father is in me, or at least believe the evidence of the works themselves. Very truly I tell you, whoever believes in me will do the works I have been doing, and they will do even greater things than these, because I am going to the Father. I mean, when you think about the works Jesus was doing, I mean, Jesus was healing people. We just saw him heal Lazarus, bring Lazarus back from the dead. We've seen him heal people. We've seen him sharing the gospel. We've seen him forgiving people of sin. We've seen him going out and loving people. We've seen the works that he was doing. When you look at the works that he was doing, he was sharing love, right? He was sharing grace with people. He was doing these things, and he says, you will do even greater. Now, you have to understand, you have to be very clear on what he's saying. It's not because of you, but it's because of him. He says, you will do even greater things, greater works than what he has been doing, because he was going to the Father, because he was going to be ascended to heaven. He was going to be sitting at the right hand of God. He was going to be there. And he says, we're going to do even greater things, but it's going to be through him. We would do even greater things. And then in verse 13 and 14, I want to read these again, because these can really quickly be taken out of context and be not correctly used. He said, and I will do whatever you ask in my name, so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. You may ask me for anything in my name, and I will do it. Now, this could be very clearly misinterpreted, abused, potentially. If you read it the wrong way and take it the wrong way, can make it seem like Jesus is a genie in a bottle, that you get wishes with him. And that's not the case. You have to understand some of the things. What did he say? He said, first, I will do whatever you ask in my name. That when you ask something, when you go to him in prayer, it has to be done in Jesus' name. It has to be done in his name. Now, if you are asking Jesus to give you $1 million, that's pretty much taking his name in vain almost. That's using it for you. That's not using it for in Jesus' name. Means, man, you're using it as something that speaking it for him almost in that. You have to be careful when you are praying for Jesus' name like that. Second, he says it has to be for God's glory. That it would be in his name so that the Father may be glorified in the Son. When you pray, it has to be for God's glory when he's saying this. It can't be for your glory. It can't be about you. And God knows your motives. Remember, one of the things I said a couple days ago, I believe it was, is that you can't lie to Jesus. So Jesus knows your motives when you're praying. And if it's for your glory, look, that's not what he's saying here. He's not going to do things, answer your request because of if it's for your glory. It's for God's glory. Another thing in this is that he says he will do it, right? Because people say, well, I pray and it's, this, but God didn't answer. Well, there's a couple things he doesn't say in here. He doesn't say how he'll do it. And he doesn't say when he'll do it. And so he says he will, and I believe God is faithful, but he doesn't say how or when. And you have to understand that comes in part, that's up to God and that's up to him. And I believe we are supposed to be praying. And I believe that Jesus, when we read this, he clearly said we're supposed to be doing greater works than him. And when you think about how Jesus had all these people following him and how he was healing people and saving people, and people are still being healed all around the world. People are being prayed for and healed. There are testimonies all over the place. Cancer being healed, things being healed in Jesus' name. And those things are happening even in a greater amount than when Jesus walked the earth, than what Jesus did when he was here on earth. You look at the spread of Christianity and how, there are more people Christians nowadays than when Jesus walked the earth. You look at the opportunity that we have today to share the gospel through right here, doing a video, social media, things that we can reach people even in an even greater capacity than what Jesus was able to do right now. And I believe this is all attributed to because of Jesus going to the Father. Everything we are able to do that is even greater than Jesus today is because he is with the Father. And so here's today's takeaways today. One is this. Jesus said he is the way, the truth, and life. No one comes to the Father except through him. There's one way to Jesus, one way to God. One way. There are all these different beliefs, different theories, multiple ways to heaven, multiple ways to God. Jesus' words clearly point out there is one way to God, and that's through Jesus, his death, and his salvation that he gives to those who ask for it and that receive that gift of salvation. Today, if you haven't done that, if you're watching this, I encourage you, ask, just say, Jesus, I want that salvation. I want that gift. I want to be able to have this relationship with God. I want to know that I'm going to heaven when my time comes. The other takeaway is this: church, Christians, believers, we are not supposed to be average. He said clearly we would do even greater things than what he is doing. We're not supposed to be average because we know Jesus and because he is with the Father. And so we are supposed to be praying for the sick. We are supposed to be praying for healing for people. We are supposed to be sharing the gospel. We are supposed to be going out and loving people. We are supposed to be going out and forgiving people and encouraging people the way Jesus did, because we are supposed to be doing the works that he did. And so don't forget that, church, where you are today. You are not called to be average. You are called to be even greater during this time. You are supposed to, because of him, and it's because of Jesus. Don't think of it because of yourself. It's not because of you. It's because of Jesus. Remember that, church. I hope this encourages you today, church. Hope you are doing well. Hope you have a good Thursday today, and we'll see you tomorrow with our last daily devotion of the week. God bless you guys. We'll see you later.